Hey team, we got another great question today, and that is how fast should long runs be? Over the years, for the majority of my career, when I was in high school, all the way up to around 2007, I most oftentimes did my long runs easy and relaxed. Okay, because I always would focus through the week. I would focus on what track workouts am I doing? Am I doing hill repetitions? I would always focus on the really hard, difficult workouts, but the long run was always easy and relaxed. And as I got older and as I got more experienced in the sport, especially when I started to run marathons in 2002, I wasn't making drastic improvements in my marathon. Okay, I ran my marathon debut at the 2002 New York City Marathon and ran 2:43:36, starting in last place for charity, and got from 32,189th up to 257th by the finish, by the end of the race. And I knew after running that race that I wanted to eventually run under 2 hours and 22 minutes. Back then it was the USA Track and Field Olympic Trials B standard time. And what helped me go from 2:43:36 to 2:19 to, a drastic jump in time, okay, going from 6:14 mile pace to 5:19 mile pace. Okay, what I did was start running my long runs at faster paces, and not just, it was a mixture of steady pace where I would run maybe 18 to 20 miles after about a mile to 2 mile easy relaxed warm up. I would run a portion of that long run at just a steady effort. Okay, and then other times I would run at paces that were much more aggressive. Okay, where I would run. Maybe I would do a 2 mile, some examples. I would run a 20 miler where I would run 2 miles easy, then 5 miles at 10 seconds slower than goal marathon race pace, then run a few miles easy, then run another 5 miles at 10 seconds faster than goal marathon race pace, run a few miles easy, then I would drop a sub 5 minute mile. Okay, so it was a varied pace type workout. Okay, this is how I set up the training plans and the running courses on Run Dream Achieve, because I've seen what it does. I will say that in terms of how fast your long runs be, this type of question, you definitely do not want to run at faster efforts for long runs every single weekend. Okay, early on when you're just building your fitness, you should be running easy and relaxed during your long runs, and that, you know, your aerobic pace you should be running aerobic relaxed mileage for a minimum of a month to 2 months. Okay, some athletes might want to just run 4 weeks and then start a 16-week block of training, or maybe an 8 to 12 week block. There are other athletes that will want to build up for their training. Maybe it's a marathon or half marathon they're preparing for, and they might want a 4 to 6 month build up. But you cannot just run fast during your long runs every single weekend. That's a great way to get burned out, still, and not properly trained. You want to time your build up properly, and that is really essential when it comes to your long runs. As you're building your aerobic fitness, you definitely want to run. It could be anywhere from a minute to a minute and a half slower than your goal marathon race pace. So again, very easy, very relaxed, a pace that you can sustain for several minutes, several hours. And then as you get fitter and your heart doesn't have to work as hard, you become more anaerobically fit, then you want to start really drilling down on running at a few seconds slower than your goal race pace, or even at paces that are much faster than goal race pace. So in terms of how fast your long runs be, it's really just going to be dependent on your particular pace and what type of goal time that you have in mind. Okay, if you're wanting to run, say, a marathon in 2 hours and 36 minutes, I think that's 6 minute mile pace. Okay, in the early stages of your buildup, your long run pace might be, especially during easy relaxed pace. If it was me, I would be focusing on running my relaxed pace right around 7:30 to 8 minute mile pace during my long runs, at least in the early weeks of my buildup. And then I would focus on really start to run portions of that long run. If I was doing, say, a 20 miler or a 22 miler, I would do like every 4 miles, I would run maybe the first 4 miles at 6:20 mile pace, then run a few miles easy, relaxed during during that recovery, then run 4 miles at 6:05 mile pace, then run easy for a few miles, do another 4 mile set at 5:45 mile pace. Okay, then maybe run a few miles easy, then 2 to 3 miles at like 5:25 mile pace. So again, very aggressive, very fast, mixture of paces, but not every single weekend. That's the important thing. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to your recovery. The real benefits of our training are going to happen after the hard workout's done. So it's absolutely essential to make sure that you are jogging on recovery days. Okay, I train with guys that could break 2 hours and 10 minutes for the marathon. I ran with a few females at the Army World Class Athlete Program that could run anywhere from 2:37 to 2:40. These athletes would run much, much, much slower on their recovery days than obviously as compared to doing their hard workouts. So I train with Kenyans that could run under 2:10, so under 5 minute mile pace for 26.2 miles, that would go out and run anywhere from around 8 to 9 minute mile pace on their easy days. Okay, that's jogging for them. Okay, so we have to make sure that yes, we really pay attention to our anaerobic training. So doing those hard track workouts and then teaching the body to run at faster paces as we get fitter with less rest, versus when we first starting our training build up, we have to run our paces per mile or per rep on the track. If we're doing 200s or 400s, repeat 2 miles or whatever it is, the paces in the early build up are going to be much, much slower and you're going to need much, much more rest. Okay. But as you get fitter, you want to make sure that you're stress in the body, you're running at much faster paces and not giving yourself so much rest. The fitter you get, you want to minimize the rest, and the paces per rep should be much, much faster, because again, there's no rest. You don't get no rest in a race. So you want to teach the body to improve its lactate tolerance, your ability to sustain your goal race pace for a longer period of time, slow down less, and the only way you're going to be able to do that is by training at very fast anaerobic efforts and running at moderate efforts as well. Okay, and making sure that you're slowing down and allowing yourself time to recover from the hard training you're doing, because you can only push the body so many times before you really start to see diminished returns on your time investment. Okay, we spend so much time and effort putting in these workouts over several weeks, several months. So it's much more important to study what the best runners are doing, utilize leverage. Leverage simply means doing more with less. Okay, it's about working smarter rather than working harder. So I think in terms of the long run and how fast should your long runs be, I really think that you need to first focus on running easy and relaxed first. Build that strong aerobic base, build that endurance first, toughen the body, toughen the muscles, the tendons, ligaments of the body first, and then you start working on gradually introducing faster, varied pace long runs. That's kind of how I set up the training plans and how I teach my running courses. We don't just immediately jump into these types of workouts. So keep that in mind as well. Have a long-term approach, making sure that first you're building that aerobic base first, and then start your anaerobic training. And then really, as you get fitter and you start dropping your volume and dropping your intensity, go into a 10-day taper. Utilize the 10-day taper I teach rather than a 3-week taper. You're going to go into your race much more rested and definitely feel much more prepared with a 10-day recovery taper. Okay, I think a lot of athletes make the mistake of dropping their volume and intensity too far out from their main race, and when they do that, they go into the race and they feel more tired rather than feeling motivated. So I hope this video is helpful for those that are asking, how fast should long runs be? Again, I don't think you should be running long, slow, and easy every single weekend. Okay, you're going to be a phenomenal long, slow distance runner if you do that. Okay, have that focus of easy, relaxed, long, slow running in the early stages of your build-up. Okay, and then as the training plans and the running courses I teach, focus on gradual, faster, varied paced, more strategic style of long run. Okay, this is what some of the world's top coaches taught me, and what I learned from some world-class runners that were far, far better than me in the mile to the marathon distance. Guys that could run under 4 minutes for the mile, guys that could break 2 hours and 10 minutes for the marathon. I could only drop 2:19. I only did it once. So, but that long run, that faster, varied pace long run, and always following it up with an easy, relaxed long run the following week, that tactic worked great for me. Okay, and that's what helped me go from 2:43.36 to 2:19.35, and it's worked for a lot of other athletes that have followed this principle here at RunDreamAchieve.com. Go to RunDreamAchieve.com, check out the testimonial page. I always add new testimonials that new athletes share with me on there, and you can read what some of these athletes are saying. I think it is a different style of training. It will definitely tax you, especially when it comes to these varied pace long runs. Without question, probably the hardest workout you're going to be doing in the training plans or the running courses that I teach is going to be that varied pace long run. It might take you anywhere from 2 to 3 days to recover from that particular workout. But I promise you, once you start dropping your volume and you've slowly build up your training and you start to taper down, these types of workouts are going to really be the bread and butter for you. You're really going to make your money with these types of workouts, and it'll help eventually over time to get that goal race pace that you're aiming for to feel much, much easier for you. So I hope this is helpful for you. Feel free to leave me a comment below. Check out the resources below all my videos. And if there's anything else I can help you all out with, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'll definitely respond back to you. So I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you in the next one.